And I think that sometimes in relationships, we forget who we're walking with.
So it all started with me driving. In that first year, I drove 98,000 miles, working a lot, seeing patients all over the state of Indiana. I was growing in my relationship with Sarah, who ended up being my wife. We pursued lots of things, pursued each other, pursued purity, pursued great levels of communication, finding out recreational compatibility and all these great things. And in the midst of all that, I noticed that as I grew my relationship with her, it wasn't until I got it so deep and so great that temptations were able to come up. Regardless of justification, I was friends with the opposite sex, and a lot of times when I would communicate with that person instead of calling my main person. I'll have to say right here, right now, that was me. I noticed myself being in that space, and how when you're just dating somebody, you're not completely committed necessarily. So it's okay, well, what if I could just check this out? Just be friends and come from a place of service, of love. It's crazy how in the pursuit of one of my biggest values of love, loving God and loving others, that I was able to justify loving God and loving others, this other person, to say that it was okay to talk to them. It was okay to leave the door open. It was okay to be playful, okay to be innocent with it, right? And it's always innocent till it isn't. And that's where I noticed myself in the levels of communication. Then I got engaged, right? Stopped talking to the person as much, but still kept in touch. Still kept one foot in the water, straddling the line, if you will. And I think that it's from that space that I noticed that as I continued to do those things, was that, I continued to communicate with this person. I continued to leave the door open. And in the midst of all that, I remember the messages and the times before being married, pictures that were sent from her. And I didn't stop that. And meeting up and never doing anything, spending time though. And what I've realized is that time is intimacy. And so as I continue to spend that time, I continue to desensitize myself to that connection. I remember putting myself in a stupid position where, her kids were with her, and I basically let all the guards down, and when she said that her back hurt, I went to help with that. And one thing led to another, and I messed up. And then I justified it too by saying that I had stopped. But even when you've stopped, I had still broken my word and my vow to my wife, my vow to myself, my vow to God, my vow to everybody. Let everybody down, man. And I didn't even realize how much I let myself down, which I had been doing so often because I didn't have a relationship with myself, that it arose. And I know that people say that when you're so in love, you don't see anybody else. And I agree with that. I think that it's the posture of our heart that a lot of times allows for other things to come in. And I think the posture of my heart was tired. The posture of my heart was working a lot. And this is the cognitive dissonance that we make an external justification for, to basically justify our dissonant cognitions. Because for me, this is a new level of non-negotiables for myself, where I'm not going to settle for anyone that wants to tolerate or embrace any level of cheating, when it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And there's many different levels of that. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever found yourself where you're scrolling and you're connected to a certain person. And I think that there's all kinds of research out there that says how many times we might connect with somebody beyond the levels that we're supposed to. And I hate that that's even a stat. And I don't know exactly how they measure that, but it is real. It is real that we all mess up when it comes to guarding our hearts sometimes. At some level, even at the thought level, right? It's sin. That's why they say the pleasures of sin too, because it's exhilarating. It's this elicitation. It's untapped, and you're oh man, what if? I wonder if. And so that's the key of this video, is remembering the power of surrender, and then the polarity of that, of doing the work. Because God might be giving you your shovel and helping you with your beingness, your compassion, your courage, all these things. And the shovel can be so great. And sometimes we expect God to dig the hole for us. we got to dig our own holes, man. It's our opportunity to realize what is the ways in which I can dig my hole well, that I can stick to the actions that are gonna help me be unshakable in moments of temptation, in moments of trials and tribulations. I love Ed Milet when he says, you don't get your goals, you get your standards. And that is my opportunity still today, noticing the ebbs and flows of my relationship with myself, with God, and with other people, is to recognize, like, I'm here to please God, really, and love him and love others as I love myself, which is an inherent thing. But I lost that relationship with myself, or lost it. I never had it. Now that I do, it's still an ing process to recognize, man, like, there are things that we get to put in place with our standards, our non-negotiables, our ways in which we choose to communicate with other people. And with those standards, it's great to love God and love others, but that's pretty vague, it's pretty chunked up, right? How can we get super specific in certain moments to embrace the temptations, embrace the thoughts and the feelings of communicating with others that might put us in a stupid situation? I want to ask you guys right now, like, what is your relationship with yourself, with God and others? And if you don't even have one with yourself, what are the prices that you're paying and that other people are paying because you don't have that relationship with yourself? When you look at the prices that you pay, you really get clear on what you're willing to commit to instead. Because we don't get what we want in life, we get what we're committed to. And we recognize that I want a good relationship with myself. I want a quality relationship with my significant other and a steadfast love that I have with God. And even able to recognize that he has it for me too. But it's like, man, like, in those moments, it's like we really can lose ourselves. And so when you don't have a relationship with yourself, I want you to ask yourself again, like, what is it costing you? What's it costing you? What's it costing the other relationships, the people that you love and care about, the people that look up to you, the people that want you to be a safe space for them, but you're not even a safe space for yourself. So how could that ever be true? If we always see ourselves as a burden to ourselves, how could we ever be a blessing to ourselves or anybody else? It's an opportunity for us to find ways to create ourselves as an instrument to God. God is the guitar. We get to be the strings. And as we all make up that image together, we get to play those chords, you know what I'm saying? Another piece to our ability to maximize our standards is our emotional fitness. I cannot say how many times, like, I've found myself in this emotional place of just looking at emotions and not the logic, right? That my mental fortitude was not strong enough to give me the emotional fitness to make the quality decisions that would foster love, that would embrace and maximize the relationships that I have. What we think about often, repetitive thoughts over and over again, becomes a belief. And that belief is our identity, our BS, our belief system, influences how we feel, our emotional home, the meanings that we create. And then we go on and on to find the evidence to prove ourselves right of what we believe about ourselves, man. So what an opportunity it is to embrace our standards, to maximize those, to get clear on those, to enhance our relationship with ourselves, with God, and with others. What is a daily action plan, a non-negotiables list, our B5 that we could maximize that for ourselves? What does our emotional fitness look like? Which then changes our ability to be better in the physical realm, the mental realm, the emotional realm, and the spiritual. I think in these two beautiful dynamics and dualities of surrendering and doing the work. We've been talking about that. Now surrendering is also our opportunity to surrender to what the opinions of others might be. It's okay. I'm not here for them. You know, and if you're being nice to those other people, are you being nice to the one that you love and care about that's at home waiting for you? Are you being nice and endearing and so careful, full of care and love for yourself? Or are you just looking to impress others, to make sure that they feel loved, that they feel acknowledged, that they feel like they exist, which is a great thing to do. Yet sometimes we sabotage our relationship with ourselves, with our God, and with other people just to please that other person, make sure that they know that they're loved. It's the opportunity between being on mission and being on purpose. And I think that dynamic is huge for us, to surrender to the control, right? I want to control everything for myself and even for other people. How can I control how they feel and like get them to feel better, right? My motives are great, yet in the midst of good motives sometimes comes terrible results because we're not embracing our standards and reminding ourselves of who we are and whose we are. Because when you operate from your true identity, it actually changes how you show up. I know that I've sabotaged my relationship with myself and many other people, and that's ended in disastrous things like divorce, like businesses not going through, like jobs not being held. There's been so many ways that I've fallen apart. And what I'm super thankful for is God's mercy and grace, where I get what I don't deserve, right? Grace, this beautiful gift of salvation, and to walk with Jesus the best that I can in the next moments. So if you've made any mistakes in your life, where you've fallen off of your standards, you've missed the mark, I want you to know that even though it's as far as the east is from the west, the devil's always going to come in, and God's mercies are made new every single morning. So what an opportunity for us to wake up right here, right now, and transform our minds. To know that Romans 12:2 tells us that that we are not to be conformed to this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. That's a beautiful process, and that is a moment-by-moment decision, fam. You could go 98, 99% of the time being perfect on those standards, and the one moment that you let up is when the devil's gonna weasel his way in. Not today, Satan. And yes, I'm saying KB, right? That song, Not Today, Satan. It's our opportunity every single day to fight the good fight. It takes a lifetime to build trust, and it takes a moment to destroy all of it. So I'm telling you right here, right now, to stop, to resist temptation, to resist the trial and the errors, the trials and the tribulations. Resist it, recognize, and then run. Run in the direction of Jesus Christ. Don't just run away from your sin. Run towards Jesus, and I promise you, you'll find him in the midst of it. And just his love for you will embrace this whole nother level of your love that you can have for yourself. So the next moments are yours. They can be tears of joy, or they can be tears of sadness and regret, and the wondering what life could have been like if you would have had your standards in place. If you would have been able to communicate well with yourself, with God, and with other people. What life could have been like if you had the emotional fitness necessary, the quality boundaries in life, to where you're not going to the line and falling off, rather so far back that you can never even reach it. Go to the extremes, fam. The extremes that will work in your favor. Because in the end, we gotta remember that Jesus was perfect, and the people of this world, so many of us, still crucified him. He was perfect, and people chose to crucify him still. So just remember that, fam. When you're trying to impress other people, know that they crucified a perfect man, so what they never do to you. Live this life, loving God, loving others, as you love yourself. Because you take you everywhere that you go. I love you guys so much. Claire, shh.